Now it's a beautiful day here in Brisbane, Australia today. We've got a lovely 24 degrees and sunny. So can't really complain. It's been a really interesting spring here. We've had winds and sunny and rains and all sorts. So finally feels like it's actually spring again. Spring is meant to be a bit of everything, right? Excellent, excellent. I reckon we've got enough. We've got a few people here, so let's get cracking, team. Welcome to another week of Trading with Aussie. So little bit of a movements this week in the market, which has been something that we've been waiting for and talking about. But first of all, I want to welcome everyone that is here with me today live. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your time with me. It's always appreciated. Never taken for granted. And if you are watching the recording, of course, make sure that you say g'day down in the comments below. Just drop a comment and make sure that you know that let us know that you're watching the recordings. Let's take a look, team. As always, we like to start from our Bitcoin dominance. If you remember last week, we spoke about this juicy trend line that was forming, right? And we know the trend lines are just traps, liquidity traps, just another form of liquidity. And the option for BTC dominance was to either bounce off it and eventually come back and retest some of this really nasty wick and potentially some of this daily level. Or option B was obviously to fail and drop. Looks like we are ready to drop. That would be nice because that means that we can actually start to see a little bit of an altcoin rally. So that is likely the scenario that is going to eventuate. We could potentially see I don't think we're going to see this anymore, but we could potentially see some sort of retest here and that a drop there. So that's kind of what I'm expecting from BTC dominance, which obviously gives us the very first bias when we look at the market daily. When we look at crypto market daily, we should always have an understanding of where Bitcoin dominance is. The same way that we should always look when we trade Forex, where the DXY or dollar is. So those are market gauge, market that treat them like market gauge. So you always want to start from those. So BTC dominance for crypto, and obviously if you want total, but you also want to look at the dollar index DXY if you're trading anything else aside from crypto. So with that in mind, we have a first bias with Bitcoin dominance potentially starting to drop. And we can start taking a look at BTC itself. So obviously we caught a short, we stop lost. I had a long there that didn't quite hit, so we can delete that. I've got short up there, which is not quite hitting. And this could potentially be a live idea, which I wanted to run you guys through. So Bitcoin obviously has formed some nice liquidity, which was just recently, a few hours ago, 5 a.m. my time, so 6 hours ago, was grabbed. So this nice sell to potential buy move is definitely an area that I'm interested in because it majorly took previous liquidity in the form of equal lows, of course. So I am currently in a long on BTC, and I would like to see what's happening here now. So if you know how the market moves three ways: moves up, moves down, or moves sideways. When it moves sideways, it's creating liquidity. And right now, we can see on the 15 minutes, we're starting a sideways movement, meaning consolidation. Whether it's accumulation or distribution obviously depends. We are at the bottom of the range, so I'm expecting this to be liquidity build on the upside, meaning that we will likely see a move up. So Bitcoin, I am happy to call this as a live idea. You can enter now as a current market price. The stop loss will be somewhere below here. So if we do this right now, excuse me, if we do this right now from here, it will still be at 1, 2, 3. I think it will be roughly. Let's have a look. almost 1 to 3. So current market price, this is definitely an opportunity there. If you want to be a bit more precise and a bit more sniper-ish, you can wait for a retracement. If it does eventuate into that 5 minutes price action, somewhere in this candle, potentially retest it. That's something that you can look as well into this fair value gap. So you can wait for movement, come back here into the 101 and call this 101 and 700 if you want to call it at a round even number. You can set a limit to there, and potentially we might even see a retest below here under this liquidity. But I am happy to call it as a current market price this, because it ends up being a 1 to 3, and we are definitely starting to move sideways, creating that juicy liquidity, which we know the market likes to come and grab. So upside liquidity is definitely there, whereas downside liquidity was already grabbed. So Bitcoin is a live idea. So straight off the bat, we can start with a nice Thursday live idea. Take profits. We can already delete this because that's the old one. We can do take profits live here. I would like to see the first TP will be at this last push. Let me get the magnet. So this will be the first TP there. The second TP would be somewhere into this candle, potentially somewhere here. Yeah, that looks like a key level right there. Take profit, and the last TP would be obviously at the highs. So here, that would be the last TP. So I'm long currently on a shorter time frame. We're looking at a 15 minutes on BTC. But in reality, we are also live on a Solana idea, which we called out the other day. Where is it? I don't have it on my chart. That's strange. Usually I have it. Oh, it's probably because I've got it on here. Let's have a look. Yes, it is. So I run you guys through the Solana idea, because it is quite a cool one to see and to learn if you want to understand how FIP works and how we can find some entries and areas of interest. So we always start from a higher time frame. In this case, obviously I was looking at the daily. We need to figure out what the range is. So this was obviously the high, this was obviously the low, and this was obviously the high. So the range that we are interested in is this. But within a range, there's obviously the movements, right? Market doesn't move straight up or straight down. It goes in M's or W's. So we identified this as a first low, and we also identified this on the 22nd of June. This is a candle that you might remember I talk about quite a bit. I want to see this candle retested eventually for Solana. So this is another key level that I'm going to take my fib from. So with those points in mind, all we have to do is we take our fib. We go from A to B, so from the bottom to the high, and we can see, and we'll make this one nice and big, so nice and thick lines. Bear with me. The second fib which we're going to take is going to be from the second point that we just identified as a key area of structure, from the high to the low, and we can make this one maybe a little bit less big, so 2 pixels. And then all we have to do is identify the last area, which was on a 15 minutes. So we've gone from daily to 4 hour to now 15 minutes. And the 15-minute structure for me was this one, right? You can see. So we're obviously making low, highs, low, highs. And then this was really just one movement. So this, you can take this as a movement, but this was my key area, was this kind of area right here. So all we have to do, same thing again. Low to high, and we'll make this one nice and thin. And if you notice, we have the 3 different thicknesses. So the really thin one is at a 618, the really thick one is at a 618, and the medium thickness was at the 786. Now we have an overlapping of 3 different Fibonacci areas into this yellow box, which I've highlighted for you guys there. So you can delete the fibs, and this is what's called a Fibonacci cluster. Mathematically, of course, we have algorithms that trade for smart money. There's not, you know, mini Aussies or mini Greenies or mini whoever just pressing buttons in Wintermute or Binance or any of those market makers. They've got algorithms, you know, BlackRock and all these things. So this area right here, which is obviously in the yellow area, I'm expecting some sort of reaction. We already saw the first reaction there. I'm basically banking on a temporarily move up, because remember, this is really the area that I'm interested in. So eventually I think we'll come back down, and you can see right here I've already got a long ready to go there for when we do come up here. But this could be a small movement, basically a buy to sell to buy kind of move. So up to down to up. We'll see when we get up there, but for now the BTC idea which I just shared is live. Solana is currently on a small drawdowns, but I'm happy to let it play out as it is. You know, this was a small entry, of course. We are interested into the 135 area first, but I just wanted to run you through, guys, the Solana idea and as to why I called it out. So it was very much a fib level confluence that I liked a lot, and you can see on Sol, this is also the same level which we talked about. It's a different chart, but same. So any questions on that, or are we all clear? Let me know in the chat if you wanted to have a look at that Solana play again. If you didn't understand how we took the trade, let me know. I think we are good. I don't see anything in the chat, so I'll take your silence for yes, all clear. Let's have a look-see at XRP, so which is obviously our next major, which we like to look at. So XRP has obviously got this massive wick still to fill, and we have a lot of bullish catalysts for XRP, right? So yeah, they're getting a little push right now. Yeah, are they? Cool. Let's take a quick look at BTC. Oh, there you go, just in time. We have TP1 team. If you took it, that's TP1 live. That was quick. Yeah, cool. That's great. We like to see. So depending on where your entry is, you know, you might want to wait for a little bit higher for TP1. If you're just entering now, you know, don't maybe just let it run a little bit more so you can move your TP1 maybe here if you just enter now. But I did like that level here because it was obviously previous sell to buy move. So Solana hopefully follows suit and keeps going up. Let's take a look at XRP, which is obviously gonna have the same push up now, but at a macro standpoint, we have a lot of bullish catalysts for XRP. Some of them I shared the other day on an XRP ledger. They just partner with MasterCard, so Gemini obviously launched their crypto card. Gemini Bank Gemini is filing a patent to become a bank in the United States. And MasterCard, of course, is going to be working on a Ripple USD, RUSD, so the Ripple stablecoin, to, I guess, finalize those transactions. So, and everything is going to be working on the XRP ledger. So a lot of noise has been made at the moment in the background with XRP, but there's a big difference to it, and it's not a but, it's an and. XRP is not the retail, so not the retail chain. XRP is the, who can tell me in the chat? XRP is the what chain? Not the retail chain, is the, starts with an I. Tell me in the chat. XRP is the institutional. Hello, Stingray. Institutional players chain. So XRP is the chain that institutional players, think your banks, think your all of your money makers around the world, countries, they're going to be using the XRP ledger. So whereas for point of comparison, Solana is very much cementing itself as the retail chain, okay? So big difference between Sol and XRP, for example, is XRP is not really a hyped up chain is very much an institutional chain, and so is obviously a retail chain. We like lower fees and whatnot. Whereas a larger institution very much bank on centralization. They want centralization. So the other thing that we need to look at is ETFs. This is obviously a major factor in XRP. I think at the moment there's like 15 XRP ETF lodged or something like that. Like if I go XRP ETF lodged, let's have a is how many 11, sorry, not 15. There's 11 XRP ETF lodge, and if you understand what that means, hopefully you do, that means that once an ETF comes through, so we can correct that to 11, once the ETF comes through, people, institutions, money makers, 401s in the United States, or even superannuations here in Australia, you'll be able to invest in XRP without holding an asset itself. So it becomes very much the same as Bitcoin and ETH at the moment, obviously Solana, where you're going to be able to retail is going to be able to partake to the crypto world without actually having to own any asset. They like that. Obviously we don't. We like to have full control of our assets, but some people like to play that way, and means a lot more money involved. So big price action, I think, coming from XRP. Super big disclosure too, I'm not telling you to buy XRP now. Definitely not. The time to buy XRP was when we were calling it down here 50 cents and we saw that massive move up. I am definitely not endorsing buying XRP now. I am just telling you, if you were here, somewhere here or somewhere here, we can probably expect those $4 to $6 price targets that we talked about a few times. I don't think it's gonna, if it goes to 4, I'll be happy. $6, I'll be stoked. But yeah, we'll see. So there's more upside. And obviously with ETFs, it's not always a rosy news. Sometimes you gotta sell the news. In fact, most times you gotta sell the news, meaning we will likely see a retest of this wick before we move up. That's usually how news goes. Oh, ETFs are out. Great, sell off. How's that happening? Why? Well, the institution want to buy cheaper. So it's market manipulation 101. And that, my friends, is XRP. Now, let's take a look at Link, or a few altcoins that I've shortlisted here to talk about for us today. And of course, I welcome anyone to just drop their tickers if they want in the chat. If they want to talk about anything specific, we can take a look. But for now, let's take a look at Link. So high to lows, of course, on a daily. Nothing new there. We take our handy dandy hype. Yeah, we can look at hype, no problem. We can take our handy dandy Fibonacci level, and we can see straight off the bat that we have tapped that 786 area, which we love to see. Now, the real question is, do we want to take this as the anchoring point of a fib? I would say potentially, but in reality, when you take fib, you got to look at where the last point before the swing goes. So this is more likely the anchor, but if you want to take it from here, we still tap the 76, meaning XRP could potentially starting to reverse and make its way back into the 20s real soon. Okay, so I did talk about it last week. It was at anything 10 to 12 chain link, 10 to 12 link, I will definitely load up heavily, but for the time being, I just have to wait. Now, fam, I have a delivery that I have to sign in, so I'm just gonna quickly duck out for 30 seconds. And I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry, 2 seconds. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I had to sign for the delivery. They don't leave it otherwise, which is annoying. Okay, so back to Link. We can see obviously we are starting to reverse. I would still love to see 10 to 12. So this is the time where we don't chase. This is the time where we seek patience. And if the price does come to us, then that's great. That's what we want. But I don't want you guys and girls to start chasing just because there's a potential to go up, okay? Because if you enter here at $15 and for whatever reason we have another last push down, you'll be in drawdown, you know, a solid 30-40%, which is not what we want. So if it hits our price target, 10 to 12, great. If not, we'll just have to, you know, just wait. Just wait. So just because we have a DCA area there doesn't mean that we should just be starting to chase market. But definitely put link on your I guess watch list if you have one, and if not, please do go and make one. And a good way to do it is, you know, you can just simply set little alarms. So here on the right, you can, I don't know why it's not doing the alarm there, but usually there, you can literally just do a plus, add alert, and when it hits $12, you can you know, do what you want. buy as much as you want. I'm not going to tell you how much to buy because everyone's is different. Everyone's situation is different. So sticking on real utility projects such as obviously Chainlink, Oracle Solution. This is, in my opinion, one coin that is going to very soon blow people's minds away. So GR Team is an old school. People like Greeny and Craig, you probably remember, you know, 2021 run. We had some really nice gains for GRT. I don't know where my screen went. Let me quickly. Here we go. Here we go. There. We were talking about GRT. GRT is definitely something that I'm going to stack heavy on. So the ICO price, and if you don't know what the ICO price is, basically the price there where early investors come in. Early investors had a price of 2.999. So that's where the early investors got in, and magically that week that we just saw recently managed to stop itself exactly at the exactly at the ICO price, which is, you know, nothing is casual in markets. Everything is calculated. So there's a reason why we bounced off that level. So ICO price obviously got tapped. I would love to see GRT coming back into this, potentially into this last candle here, which was the last sell to buy candle. So somewhere around the 5 cents, 0.056. But I don't know if we will. You can see that obviously we're starting to break structure. We had low, high, low, sorry, high, low, high, and then we started off obviously breaking structure right here. So I'm expecting potentially this kind of movement now from GRT going back up. And if you don't know what GRT is, go and look up what the graph is. So CoinGecko is usually where you can go and find all these things. So GRT is an OG project, like I said before, but is having a lot of attention, institutional attention in the background as well. So it is an indexing protocol and global API. If you don't know how data is moved, data is basically moved through API calls. So this is very much a real world utility. Project is not, you know, a hype project. So definitely something that we should be putting on our radar. At least for me, as an investor, I like to always look at things like companies as opposed to, you know, just hype. So blockchain data, it's basically what they do. So yeah, definitely interested in GRT at these prices. The upside is very much more, I guess, enticing than the risk. So the risk is, if you buy here, you know, you risk that it goes to 0, and you know, it's obviously nobody wants that, but your low is there, whereas your upside, you know, even if we go and take back some of these highs, or even if we do, which is, you can see there, that's the level that I'm interested in, this kind of candle right here. So that kind of move gives us a 1 to 20 risk to reward, you know, or a solid 13x there for us to be happy. So GRT could give us some really nice results, I feel, in the longer term. Something that with adoption data is going to be inevitable. Any questions on GRT, or are we good? Hopefully all good. GM George, how are you doing, mate? Next up, Uni. We talked about it last week. We called about it live. I said this is a buying area today. I will buy Uni today, and sure enough, we did 100 and a bit more, 113, 100 and almost 120% move. I don't think Uni is nowhere near done yet, so we'll likely come back, and you can see 20 is very much on the card. We talked about it last week, if you remember, about the price goals for Uni. Here they are for you: $20, $33, and then potentially all-time high, of course. But this is longer term. But you can see on the weekly, it's starting to look real good with these highs right here, absolutely achievable, and it's definitely hold the lows and starting to move up absolutely nicely. Now, Aussie, do you suggest entering now? No, I don't. I don't think $7 is a great entry. It's not a bad entry. I was buying Uni higher prices personally. But if you can wait a little bit and see if potentially we can wait to the 5 and 6s, that might give you a slightly better risk to reward. But obviously, if you're in for the long term, and we're talking months, sure, you can initiate a small percentage. Like, if you have $1,000 to put in Uni, I'll probably say you can do 500 here, where we are now, and then have another 500 ready at $5. That way you do a split position, and you don't go all full in, teleporting all of your hard-earned money into what potentially could be an average entry. So average, obviously, for the short term, but for the long term, I think we are laughing. So Uni, very much happy that we bought down here. We're already very much in profit, but more upside. And talking about some DeFi, I know that Greeny also shared on his channel that he smells a DeFi season is upon us. I very much agree, and it's been overdue. I think we're late for a DeFi season with the institutional grade participation in the market that we are seeing. Usually the first things to move is DeFi. So yes, Jupe is one of them, of course, on Solana. We obviously just talked about Uni's DeFi. There is a ton of project. If you, once again, you go into the graph, you're going to CoinGecko, you can actually go by how do you do it again? You do by exchanges, NFTs. You can go by categories. So if you go categories, you can literally just go DeFi, and you can see all the projects that are considered DeFi. So Lido, Chainlink, Hyperliquid, Uni, Aave, Pump.Fun for some reason is DeFi. Athena, obviously for liquid staking, Aster, Jupiter, Ondo, Maker, or Sky now that has gold. So there's a ton. There's a lot of them. Okay, so but for me, I'm looking for asymmetric bets at the moment. So I want to invest a little bit at this stage of the cycle to potentially gain more. I've made my gains. I think most of my gains I had to realize them in the sense that I don't think there's too much upside left. So at this stage of the cycle, I want something that I can buy low, gives you a nice risk to reward, and from here to here, that's a 2x. There's not too many projects that in the shorter term, and I'm talking now shorter, I'm not talking years, I'm talking maybe months. I do think that Centrifuge Finance, it's very much a small to medium cap, so it's not a large cap, but it has all the potential for some nice moves. If you go and look at some of their not just tokenomics but also partnership, you'll see that they've partnering with the right people. The max supply is in, they don't have one, but it is not necessarily a deal breaker if that he's got some partnership with some of the RWA tokens that we all know and love, things like Ondo and things like that. So CFG is definitely one that I would say, go and put 0.5% or 1% max of your allocation in your portfolio. Don't go and put anything more than that. That would be crazy because it's such a small cap. What are we at? We are at 100 million. So it is not definitely a large cap. But yeah, BTC week. Oh, g'day, Greeny. I didn't see you sneaking in there. How are ya? But yeah, we can see definitely with CFG there's the potential, and I know that some of you in the chats are asking at this time of the cycle what can give us that 2 to 3 x. Well, here's one for you guys. You can see my TBs. Current market price, so almost 3x there. Later here, if we go back into some of these levels up here, you're looking at anywhere between a 5 to 7x. Potentially for CFG, and to be perfectly honest, I actually caught this move already, and I've already eventualized. So I took it and I'm out. So I didn't wait. I saw the retracement, so I enter here and I exited here. You can see I've got my take profit there that was already hit. So now I'll be entering again in this project with you guys as well. So this is one that I will personally be buying again. So DeFi project. I thought we can have a look at ZEC. Personally, at Zcash, I am not in it. This was obviously the time that you wanted to buy. I don't chase when price goes like this. Instead, what I do is I wait. And when you see a price action such as this one, you're almost guaranteed to see a retracement. This is nothing else but a ginormous trend line which is going to get broken. So as always, the best way to do it is we literally just go in, we take our fib from the low to the high, and we wait for a 76 retracement. I don't like the 50 to 618. If there is a lot of demand, which obviously this coin seems to have at the moment, this could be your first DCA area. If you want to, go in half of your allocation once again, and this can be your second DCA area that I'll be looking at potentially to initiate a position. Once again, initiate a position. I am not doing anything right now. This coin might also pull 1,000 because everyone wanted to go to 1,000. Usually when everyone wants something to go to 1,000, it just doesn't go. So just be prepared for that. But if it does do for whatever reason, I'm expecting a big drop off. Just remember, whenever something is overextended, it needs to move back down. Okay, so for Zcash, if you're thinking about buying now, I strongly recommend not. And on a smaller time frame, it was such a you can see obviously double top. It formed actually a lower high or equal high there. So there was definitely all the signs. This was the breaker structure right here. Pretty straightforward. Now all we need to see is a retracement up, and then we'll likely see some lowest price action. And there you go, Greeny. Watching you fucking short a lower high. Yeah, that's exactly what we just talked about. So Greeny and I, we're on the same wavelength there. So you can probably short from there. Personally, I won't be shorting this just because there is so much hype around it. So I'd rather wait for a long when it comes to these things. This candle was potentially a nice short from here, but yeah, I'm not gonna short ZEC just because I feel like I don't really like. To be honest, I haven't really done too much research either. I know that it's a privacy coin, but yeah, we'll see how that pans out. I'll definitely be interested again in buying once we get to the the 400 first, but then really my target is 200. And that is a privacy meta. Now let's talk about some real world utility. Once again, you know that I love TON, the only network. I'm still in a buying zone here. This is for me a no-brainer long term. I keep yelling TON, buying TON. I keep stacking TON. I don't care. I was buying here. I was buying here, buying here, buying here. I'm buying here, and I'll be buying here. So I don't care, because if I buy a $1, $2, $3, my upside, to go into $9, it's I think we will get there with adoption. With this also fits the privacy meta, which we just talked about, because obviously Telegram is all about privacy and not selling your data, unlike any other of the social media. So for me, this is also a no-brainer. And finally, on the alts that I wanted to finish talking about today is Render. Now, unlike Uni, which we talked about last week, that was a buy there and has exploded. Render has not yet. We talked about it and it was at $2, and this was one of the ones that I said it's a buy today. Sure, it did move from our entry, which was, it did a nice 70%, which is not to be snuffed at. But I think the upside for Render is still very much bright. I'll be happy to say this is also buying price. If you missed last week, Cole, and you didn't buy at $2, buying today at $2.33 is still very much a good, good in the long term, mind you, in the long term, right? So I'm targeting at the very least $8. So that it's, what is that? It's a just shy of a 4x, like a 3.5x. If you buy it today from here, and I'm targeting that candle right there. I'll circle it for you guys. That one right there. So you're looking at 3.7x. So no bad, no bad, no bad. So Render, once again, I think by now, unless you're new to crypto, you don't know what Render is. We're talking about data. We're talking about obviously GPUs, partnership with NVIDIA, partnership with one of the most established project when it comes to AI and whatnot. So definitely interested in Render, and a high time frame, you can see why as well. So from the low to the high, we retraced. It's currently sitting between the 786 and 886, and yes, I think this coin is ready for the next leg up. So that is it for what I had in terms of some of the alts, but we do have a couple of requests, so we'll take a look at Hype real quick. USD. Take a look, and we also take a look at DOT. Or Atom. I like Atom personally better than DOT, so I'll look at let's have a look at Hype. So obviously Hype does not, the price action that it went through was absolutely crazy, but it looks to me it's also creating liquidity up and down. You can see it's kind of starting to move sideways. Now the real question is, do we close below that $35? Yeah, $35. If we do start to close down, a retracement back into some of this week potentially is definitely possible. You can see that it's starting to reject, so it's making lower highs, which is never a real good sign for price action to do that. But we definitely want to see some more confirmations, right? We haven't made, this was the first lower low, this is the second lower low. If we make another lower highs, you can probably short this thing fairly confident for Hype, and potentially come back into some of this weak price action. Did we not cover ETH? I thought we did. For ETH, no, I thought we did, but yeah, for ETH is very much similar to Solana. So we took liquidity. Now you could potentially look for a long, but for ETH, if you remember, we talked about last week, 22nd of June is for Aussie price fit anyway, is the candle that I want to see tested. So I'm being patient for a long. This is what I want to see for ETH. This is the candle that I want to see retested, which it's an institutional candle right there, had money grabbing capabilities, and hasn't been tested yet. So the same price action, to give you guys a comparison, this was the 22nd of June. So BTC actually mitigated that price action, whereas Solana and Ethereum, Solana, this is ETH, and this is Sol. We still haven't got down there. So I still want to see that that lower price action for ETH and Sol, both, if it makes sense. Okay, so that was Hype. Let's take a look at Atom, which I am very happy to hold and stake. I stake Atom. You can see, keep it, let it run. So for Atom at the moment, there's not a lot of price action. We obviously going lower, but my price targets are here and here. So $30, I think eventually we'll get up there, and $10 as a first target is definitely a possibility. In terms of what it's doing now, right now. I haven't really taken a look at Atom price feed, but we can definitely do that together right now. We just keep making lower lows. So until we take out these highs, really, there is a fair bit of liquidity here. Until we take out these highs in terms of structure, yeah, Atom is already half filled this week, so that's good news. That's real good news, because that means that a lot of this imbalances has been filled. And further to that, this big push down, which filled a lot of this imbalances here, could be also a nice sign for a long. So depending on what he's doing on the 4 hour, 1 hour, I wouldn't be against potentially looking for longs. I would like to see a bit more of a retracement than that, personally, when it comes to, you know, we didn't even touch the 50%. So not here, but if we do end up coming back straight away, I can see on the 50%, this candle right here. So that is an entry on Atom that I'll be willing and happy to wage an entry there, and definitely these two order blocks right here at the 786. So this will be my entries on Atom if you want to do it. And I'm talking leverage now. I'm not talking well, leverage and portfolio, to be honest. You know, something like this as an entry one, very tight stop loss just under that candle there, and then something like is that there? What's that? Something like this. At this time, you want to put that low below that previous low. So this will be a nice potential leverage on Atom. Yeah. Yeah, ending 43 days shutdown. Yeah, they're gonna start printing again. You'll see. We're about to go on a little run for sure. Yeah. So that's Atom and Hype. I think that was it for that was it, right? Yes. AVAX. We want to look at AVAX. Let's take a quick look at our old friend AVAX. I had some levels marked up here. I think from last week we talked about it. From AVAX we had, what is that? 1 hour candle, similar to Atom, which we literally just talked about it. I wouldn't want to enter an entry now, low to high. We are not even at the 50%. We're somewhere in the 382 ish area. So first level will be here, and second level will be exactly the same order. Oh, sorry, this is Atom. No wonder why it's the same. Sorry. Brain is fried. But let's have a look. Low to high. Yeah, we touched the 50%. We're having a reaction now. This order block got filled. You can see it came back into it. This order block got filled. This order block got filled. So there's not a lot of imbalances left here to come back to. This might be a reversal area for Atom. So for AVAX, where we are currently sitting. Unless we go on lower time frame, and we'll see what that week was. But this is on a 15 minutes, so that week will be on a low time frame, 5 minutes likely. So this will be an entry potentially that I'll be willing to set an entry, a limit, set and forget. I could do something like this, and then basically if we get down there, great. If not, I'll pass. But something like this with my feed extensions somewhere there. So something like this I potentially could look at for AVAX. Bear in mind that there's a possibility we come back into that last push down, which you can see grab liquidity. So either something like this, or well, to be honest, it looks like it's gonna do something like this, or something like this for AVAX. Jupiter, love it. It's like an auction house today. Let's have a look-see. What do we have here for Jupiter? Jupiter is, I think I talked about it last week, but I'm very happy to talk about it again. Market moves sideways, market moves up, market moves down. As it moves sideways, we create a liquidity. Do we like to buy high or do we like to buy low? We like to buy where? We like to buy low. Now, if we have high, okay, you're not my friend anymore, Jax. If you buy high, we're not friends anymore. That's right. So we have created a range here in Jupiter. We have been accumulating. We've created liquidity. We've taken liquidity out with that big wick. You can see it right here. And we are still sitting at the bottom of a range. This is where I like to buy. We like to buy low. We like to buy low. We like to sell high. So I'm not saying that, you know, this cannot go lower. If you look at ton, for example, this was an example also of distribution, not accumulation. It's the same thing, same concept, but it ended up going lower. Okay, so, but when you see something at the bottom of the range, the risk to reward is what you need to consider. Is my risk, because everything in life has risk, is my risk to the upside more enticing than my risk to the downside? And in my opinion, it is. It is for Jupiter. It is still for ton, because I do see a lot of activity, and I know that Greeny is also agree. This week potentially can get filled again slightly. You know, we can come back and or even fully. I don't know, but there's a lot of activity that Jupiter is currently doing on the back burner. They have prediction markets. They have a ton of stuff, and you can see price action. We are literally sitting at the bottom of the range. So Jupiter, if you don't have in your portfolio, definitely it's a no-brainer to add. And to be honest, you're getting it at a still, you know, at 30 cents. I was happy to buy Jupiter at $1 up here when it came out. Obviously we went through lower, but I managed to DCA my price down nicely. So when we move down, it's an opportunity for you to DCA your cost down. Okay, so Jupiter, if you don't have it, yeah, absolutely, why not? Hey, yeah, call to see if it hold. Jupiter, yeah, that's it. So if it's a hold, those are the olds. Now I'm gonna whiz through a couple of stocks. GME, we've been patient, fam. We've been patient, and patience is finally paying off. If you remember, I didn't want to buy here, I didn't want to buy here, I didn't want to buy here, because all we were doing is we were creating liquidity. And now the trend line has finally broken, and all we have to do is just wait for that, you know, $17-ish for nice entry on GME. I will definitely call this out, but if in case I don't, put yourself a little alarm. $17 is definitely an entry that I'm interested in for GME, which is coming. It is coming. Okay. Another one that I called out recently is Duolingo. So for those of you who don't know, it's obviously a language app. There's a lot of bullish catalysts, I think, on this. There's also some bearish catalysts too, which I also want to have a look at. The bullish catalyst, of course, is that they have a ton of untapped potential. At the moment, their revenue mostly consists of ads. So if you look at things like the pay subscription, the moment they start doing pay subscription, these earnings are gonna skyrocket. And the funny thing is, if you actually look at volume, right? So we are seeing today, and this is why I called it out, by the way, so that you know how we select the stocks. Highest volume in this stock since its inception. Highest volume coming up this week, coming up at the AA6 of this last move, but most importantly, coming out, and I want to see if you guys can see it. What do you see? I'm gonna circle it for you. What do you see? Let me know in the chat if you see it. I want to know. Do you see what we see here? 1 and 2. Absorption, T-Bone, coming with the goods, man. Thank you. So when we have this much volume, highest volume ever on a stock, coming in with the tiny little candle, That's absorption 101. That is what we want. That means that we are about to see a nice big move on the way up. And it doesn't have to come right away, right? It's not like instant, but it's gearing up. So this is definitely my DCA area. You can see here, I've got from 120 to 200. It is a big gap. So that's why I say initiate. I always say initiate a position, because you can initiate one today at 185. You can have another one at 160. And you can have another one at 140, and you can have another one at 120. And if you do 20% or 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%, then all of a sudden, if you do tap all the way down there, well, guess what? Your average entry price will be somewhere in the middle, right? So you don't want to full port from this. You don't want to wait for this in case we don't hit it. So it's good to have staggered entry for that reason. So it gives you the opportunity to grab the price at the best possible average, right? So I am happy to initiate a position now, and obviously I will have other limits set, probably down every $20 or lower that we go, and see what happens. So Duolingo, definitely something that I'm happy to call out. Today, they're also diversifying in chess, so they're gonna start teaching chess. And what's funny is that earnings come out absolutely positive, and the price is going down, which is exactly what we want to see, because that is market manipulation. Webull, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I want to see some bullish price action from Webull, so I need to see some sort of confirmation. But it's definitely starting to slow down. You can see here. Similar move to what happened likely here. Market comes to an halt and then eventually moves. So keep an eye out on Webull. We want to see some more confirmations. The moment we start pushing up higher, we can probably enter on a retracement, and we are off to the races. And last but not least, we can look at Adobe. This is also a stock that I'm very interested in. Of course, we're taking out major liquidity. You can see we are also sitting at a very enticing level on the 786, between the 786 and the 886 as it is. So this is something that I am definitely willing to, once again, initiate today, and then possibly every $20-$30 down. So 315, and then again 300 sub 300, and see how deep we can go. We might actually see a 200, high 200s Adobe price action, but I don't want to wait for that, just in case we don't necessarily get down there. But obviously this stock has been on an absolute tear. If you don't know what Adobe is, you've probably been living under a rock. It gives us most of the softwares that we use today, and yeah, definitely something that I'm happy to wager will likely retest the mid to high 500s. We are currently sitting at 337. So mind you, stocks are always a long-term play, right? Like we wait and wait for stocks. That is pretty much it, because PSKY is, I'm still waiting. Paramount, we obviously had a massive bullish news with WBD, so Warren Brothers acquiring, or in the rumor of acquiring Paramount Sky, which is why WBD absolutely rocket, and now just waiting on a bit more of a retracement. Once we see $13 for Paramount, I'll be happy to call that out again. Once again, you can see this big volume coming in, and obviously price action to get up there is, we're a few X's away. So another one to put on your radar for stocks. That is it, fam. We absolutely whizzed through a ton of stuff today. Is there any questions? And if there's not, that means I've done an okay job. Yeah, I'm happy about it. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee now. Woo! All good, all clear? All clear as mud. Thank you. Love it. All great. Perfect. Thank you. Happy days, fam. Thank you. I will go and upload these as usual, so we can go back and rewatch it. And other than that, I will see you guys and girls next week. Thank you.